Everybody talks about Pompeii, but its sister city may offer an even better glimpse into the past. Here's how this ancient seaside resort turned into a well-preserved tomb. When someone mentions Pompeii, you probably immediately picture images of destruction, white contorted bodies frozen in agonized poses from when Mount Vesuvius erupted in 79 AD. The only thing wrong with that image is that those bodies aren't bodies at all, they're plaster casts. The unique process of preservation was developed in 1863 by the town's excavation director Giuseppe Fiorelli. The bones of about 100 of the roughly 2,000 killed were made into plaster casts. But in the nearby town of Herculaneum, all of the remains are actual bones. Herculaneum often gets overlooked because of Pompeii's dramatic, eye-catching plaster casts, but in some ways the city is an even better indicator for understanding the lives of the people of the time than Pompeii is. In the 1st century, Herculaneum served much the same function that the southern Italian coast serves nowadays, a seaside getaway for the wealthy, replete with gorgeous estates, superb weather, sumptuous food and drink, and connected to a harbor that made for easy trade and transportation. The Herculaneum Society says that the city was even favored by Julius Caesar's father-in-law, who owned property there. All of that got wiped away in a matter of hours. Located a scant 10 miles from Pompeii and a bit closer to Vesuvius, Herculaneum and its inhabitants got caught in the same lethal pyroclastic flow as their neighbors to the southeast. Although we don't know how many of Herculaneum's residents and visitors died when Mount Vesuvius erupted, we know that about 5,000 people lived in the town prior to its destruction. While Pompeii's remains were discovered in the late 16th century, Herculaneum was buried under roughly 5 times more volcanic debris, and that's why only a handful of human remains had been unearthed before 1981, when archaeologists discovered masses of skeletons near the area's shoreline. To date, about 300 skeletons have been uncovered. The volcanic wave that engulfed Herculaneum had a lower overall pyroclastic flow temperature than the one that hit Pompeii, which better preserved the bones. Buildings, baths, sewers, streets, and artwork were also protected, as were highly perishable items like wood furniture, vegetables, and even paper scrolls that were still intact.
In it, they found a library with at least 1,800 ancient scrolls with texts in Greek and Latin.
All of these were embedded in about 82 feet of mud that flowed into the city and sealed its remains. Renewed excavation started in the 1980s, but most of the city still has yet to be unearthed. Still, each new layer reveals more information. Most of the town's skeletons have been found huddled in a series of vaulted stone coverings called fornici, just outside the city by the beach, where it's believed they sought shelter while waiting for rescue boats. So far, the skeletons have been left in the exact positions in which they were found. Unlike Pompeii, we don't have any eyewitness account from the day, but if you're so inclined, you can pay a visit and see those skeletons yourself.